to the Hip Hop Scholar podcast, where beats meet bibliography, where sound becomes scholarship, and where hip hop lives as history, culture, and lived experience. I'm your host, Melanie, the Hip Hop Scholar, and today we are taking it straight to the 504, New Orleans, Louisiana, a city where music is not background noise, music is a way of life. And listen, I need y'all to understand something. Today, we're not just doing any interview. We are celebrating bounce, because bounce is one of the realest regional sounds in hip hop. Before social media dances, before viral challenges, before everybody wanted to move to the beat, New Orleans was already doing that. Bounce built a whole movement of rhythm, call and response, energy, and community. That sound comes from neighborhoods, block parties, second lines, car speakers, and packed dance floors where everybody knows the beat before the words even start. And today, we have someone who carries that sound with pride. We have a real bounce queen in the building, Yo Girl Mel, straight out of New Orleans East. And I am truly honored to have her here on the Hip Hop Scholar podcast, because this is somebody who has been putting in real work and staying consistent for years, representing the 504 with authenticity and confidence. When you see Yo Girl Mel, you see somebody who understands exactly where she comes from and moves with that New Orleans energy everywhere she goes. Known off the mic as Melody Smith, Yo Girl Mel is a New Orleans East native and a real bounce artist who has been putting her music out for nearly 2 decades, staying consistent and representing her city every step of the way. If you have been seeing that New Orleans bounce remix energy taking over social media, chances are you have already heard her sound without even realizing it. She is one of the voices keeping that bounce spirit alive and visible right now. And what I respect of this young lady is her authenticity. She is not borrowing the culture, she is the culture. Real bounce artist, real 504 energy, real Southern rhythm. On this platform, we give people flowers while they can still smell them. And today, we are showing so much love to Yo Girl Mel and the entire New Orleans bounce tradition, from the pioneers who built the sound to the artists like Yo Girl Mel who continue to move it forward. She is not chasing trends at all. She is rooted in a sound that existed long before these algorithms. You can hear that bounce rhythm in her music. You can see it in her performances. You can feel it in her presence. That energy is unmistakable. That is New Orleans. That is culture. That is history in motion. And what I love about artists like Yo Girl Mel is that they keep regional hip hop alive. They remind us that hip hop did not come from one place, and it does not sound just one way. Every city has a voice, and New Orleans has one of the loudest and most distinctive voices in the culture. So today we are giving those flowers to Your Girl Mel, as well as to New Orleans bounce music, because bounce deserves to be documented, studied, respected, and to be heard. Because this is living hip hop history that is sitting right in front of me right now. It is an honor to have a true New Orleans bounce queen here with us today. So welcome to the Hip Hop Podcast, Your Girl Mel 504.
Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you.
All of that. Yes, ma'am.
I love that. That was nice.
Yes. We give flowers here. And again, I'm so honored to have you on today, especially with the lineage and legacy that you are continuing to place, Yo Girl Mel. We are honored to have you here and to just unpack your brilliance and excellence as well.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
honored to be here.
Absolutely. So let's start from the very beginning. I ask all my artists, when did you fall in love with hip hop? And then for you, when did you first hear that first bounce song? Talk to us.
Well, when I was real young, my brother 11 years older than me. So, back in the CD ages, he had an album book with CDs in there. So by me being young, I wasn't buying CDs. It was on the radio. So I had to learn music from off the radio by going through his albums and just playing everyone listening to it. So then one day he just so happened to have like a bounce album in there, and then like I put in a CD and I just was like, wait, I be hearing this around the city because I was too young. I didn't really know. And I was like, okay, this bounce. So then I just started listening to it so much until, until we started having internet progress. And then I started researching it.
And that's one of the best things about the internet is that I saw you on TikTok and you did that who. And then you went into the lyric and then the song came on and I was like, what? What? Like taking the trends and making them your own, especially distinctive of that. So proud of how you continue to promote that bounce music. Tell us how important bounce music is to you and why you carry on this beautiful tradition representing that Southern Louisiana sound.
House music is important to me because it's our own. It's actually New Orleans culture. Like people see it as a genre, but it's more than a genre. It's literally our culture. So like a lot of people want to get into it, but I get real defensive, and I be having to apologize to people. I was just be like, "I'm sorry, I'm just very defensive because I grew up." You know what I'm saying? When I first started, I was in the seventh grade playing around with the instrumental B from Vodka Rizzo album, and by eighth grade, I had a little diss out. So, yay.
Oh
It was
yeah,
a tape too. I had a cassette tape out because I didn't know how to work. I didn't know how to work like the computer and stuff until like I got to the ninth grade, and then my brother taught me how to work the computer, and then he went off to college. So then I was able to work on the computer by myself, and then by the spring of my freshman year, I had put out my first mixtape, and when I put out my first mixtape, I just knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew from that moment.
absolutely. I mean, shout out to your brother for introducing that to you. Same for me too, Mel. Where my brother, he had the CD album and he had the beats in his car and he would play the different CDs. That's how I got introduced to UGK, 8 Ball MJG. And I'm from North Louisiana. I'm from Shreveport. And to have that New
Okay.
Orleans bounce music, like we knew the DJ Jubilee. We had of course, we all know Big Frida. And to grow in that sound definitely is a Louisiana respect piece. And to have that distinct sound coming directly from New Orleans. And so I, at a very young age, I'm hearing that you turn music as entertainment into music as a form of expression. And I love to hear that. Who were your early influences, along with your brother? Who helped to shape your sound as well as your confidence as a performer?
Well, I always saw myself trying to sing R&B or something. Me and my sister would do escape routines growing up. Escape and it was Escape. What is Escape, Insync, and TLC.
Okay.
So then when I got to bounce music, of course the greats like Magnolia Shorty, Chicky Black, Jubilee, but when I actually got a passion to it was when I knew I was different from everybody else. So like 98, 99, that's when I heard Katie Red. So then when I heard Katie Red, I just had to go in my room, lock the door, put my headphones on, and I listened to Katie Red every single day. And then it was Valkyrie Zoo, Frida, Sissy Nobi. And it's like the way they was expressing themselves through music, it was like they make it seem like it's so it's so possible to actually live in your truth because, at a time in the late 90s and stuff, I couldn't live in my truth, but I was able to live in my truth through music with them. So listening to Vodka and Katie and Frida, Nobi, Got It Boy Chris, West Bank Eric, those were the people that really did it for me.
Amazing. I'm so glad you said all of those names and gave those shout outs to all that great music and the musicians, especially with keeping that bounce culture, that culture of the music. We talk about hip hop on this podcast and being a subgenre of hip hop. Hip hop can be very mainstream at times, especially in the time of era that we have now with, they want it to sound in a certain way. But what I adore, out of the many things I adore about you, Mel, is that you keep that tradition alive of that bounce culture. How would you explain bounce music to somebody who may not have heard it before? How can you explain what it is?
The first thing I always say for people to understand is like it's booty shaking music because that's the first part of your body that wants to move. But other than that, it's just party music. It's just feel good music, and it's like it can you can make it like you can make it up off your head, but a lot of times my specialty is like remixing stuff that's already out and just turning it into like something New Orleans. Like I could put street names in it. I could put all type of events, and only New Orleans people would know. So it's like a secret language that people don't understand what they dancing to because they don't know what I be talking about sometimes. And that's like the old school of it. The old school is not really just making people just shake. It's actually about talking about your life and your culture throughout New Orleans.
Yeah, a lot of early music would talk about Gert Town, the different wards and the different projects and the different places in New Orleans. But that's no different than, you hear music from the East Coast. New York shouts out these different, boroughs of the Bronx and Brooklyn, BK, and, not being from that area, it's specific to them. And so that part of representation, I think, is permanent in hip hop, where you represent exactly where you're from. That's where that authenticity comes from, right? And then, like you said, when you hear bounce music, like
Yeah.
again, when I heard you on TikTok, I had to stop. I'm scrolling through it, and as soon as I came to yours, that bounce music comes on, like it's a movement driven sound. How important is it, the dancing and the crowd energy, when you do perform your music, whether it is social media or in person? How important is the dancing and that crowd?
It's very important because I feed off their energy. I can do it without their energy, but a lot of times I'm freestyling. So I can't get into the groove if I don't feel like you're moved by what I'm saying because I'm saying this to move you. So the moment you start moving, the moment I'm getting the okay that I could keep going. And like I have stage fright. So it's like if I'm in a group of people and they just actually watching me, I'm not gonna perform well. So yeah, move it. Them responding to me immediately. It really is important.
Absolutely. I mean, you captured my attention, and that was just through a little 90-second reel. So just seeing you in person, girl, I could just imagine. Like, people can't stay still. And to hear that you even have even just a little bit of stage fright, but for you to push through that, that speaks volumes of how important keeping this tradition alive, like second lines in New Orleans, and all those pieces that during Hurricane Katrina, I was living in that era, and so much was lost in the city and taken away and in the bowels of the Gulf of Mexico. But at the same token, the people still rose and they rise. And it's artists like yourself that keeps the tradition alive. And it's so important. And that's another reason, too, that I had to get you on the podcast, Mel, so that you can not only be honored, but also to understand how vital you are to the culture of hip hop altogether. That regionality and authenticity of being who you are, that pride of New Orleans. Where does that pride come from for you? Talk to us about that, the pride that you have.
A pride. Well, my pride it just come from home. Like it come from home first off because my parents, even though they are like retired teachers, they still stood for what they believe in and they always made sure to be themselves. So I just always wanted to be myself. Now, as I got older and then I wanted to like explore with my pride, like, my gay side, it just came from the community. Like you have to go outside. So once you go outside and you start to see people living in their truth, everybody just start feeding off each other in the city because I don't know. It's just something about the city that just gravitates people towards it, and then it just makes us stay here even longer. So I had to do nothing but embrace it. You have to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Both prides, whether pride of self and then pride of love, whoever you want to love. And that's one of the beautiful things because I attended Xavier in New Orleans for a long period of time. And one thing about people that would come from all over, from Philadelphia, Chicago, California, even St. Thomas Islands, there is this gravitational pull, this spirit in New Orleans that just has you to be free. It has you to just be comfortable. I even interviewed an artist from New York, Aida, the alligator Alfred, and she even talked about the beauty of New Orleans and how she would love to retire there because there is something very unique that is special and specific to New Orleans, and that bounce music is one of many attributes that New Orleans brings.
Yeah.
Do you feel like bounce music has the respect that it has in hip hop? Do you think it's getting the respect that it deserves?
It don't get the respect it deserves, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm the type of person where I just feel like for a long time it's been underground, and I kind of wanted to keep it there because, like I said, it's more than a genre; it's a culture. So it's like it's starting to get the respect it deserves because of TikTok and because of it being trending. Because anything that trends, people are gonna have respect for it. So I'm having way more respect for outside people than people from my hometown. Because growing up in New Orleans doing bounce music, it was never respected. It was never respected by New Orleans people. It was always the out of town people that would respect it more. So New Orleans people starting to come around respecting it, but it's like I don't know. It's just like it's a trend and people are going to respect the trend for the time being, so I don't know when the trend is over how they going to feel about the genre, but they love it so far.
And that authenticity of what it brings as well. And that's the leverage that people use social media. One of the benefits, there are some negatives when it comes to social media, but that's one of the benefits, is that you're able to reach a more diversified audience where it's not just people from Louisiana, like people from Canada and people from Australia, being able to hear your music. I think that's so important that social media allows that opportunity for you to be put out there so that you're able to share this culture and share this tradition and earn that respect, because there's many things of the state of Louisiana that people, they think negatively of. Like, as soon as you say you're from Louisiana, oh, voodoo, oh goodness, and this, and it's like there is a beautification of me saying I am and born and raised in Louisiana, and then the music that comes from there. Just because you may not understand it doesn't take the beauty away from it. And again, artists like yourselves, Mel, that I want to unpack that excellence that you showcase and share, and so that consistency, because you've been doing this for a very long time. You've been doing this since middle school. And so what keeps you motivated to continue to do the music exactly for that sake? What's your motivation?
What motivates me, I don't know. What motivates me is just the fact that I've been doing it so long. I just feel like I could do it out my sleep. Like doing something that comes easy to you will always motivate me. And I guess because now that I'm able to reach new audience every single day, it's just like I just want to see like how far I can take it because I'm still not there yet. So what motivates me is the fact that I want to be like the biggest artist. I want to be on the biggest stage. I've always dreamt that. No matter what kind of music I thought I was doing. One minute I thought I was a rapper, one minute I thought I was a singer. Either way it go, entertainment was always something that was always on my mind. So that drives me knowing that every day that I'm one step closer every time I post a song.
That's right. That's right. And that is so important. And I say this in a lot of my recordings and interviews. As a professor, I teach my students that the applause is just extra. To be able to do music because of your love for music, not just for the audience. And like you say, you can feed off of the audience, but it's also, what you see in the mirror, like your love of the culture, and that, you're really a pillar of the community, a pillar of the tradition. Do you see yourself as an historian? Do you understand the magnitude of what you are and who you are and what you do to the future, the present and the future of bounce music?
I didn't at first. At first, I felt overlooked because when I first started to get noticed, of course, was on social media because I did it in high school just for my high school. There are people that did it in high school and went to studios and all that. I did music in high school just for my high school. So if they decided to let everybody else know, then they let everybody else know. But it wasn't until 2005 after Katrina when I was able to start posting my music on what that is on MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like after that I just blew up and I was performing by the age of like what I was like 18, 19, performing, around the city. But I just feel like I'm finally starting to feel like I matter because I took like a 14, 15-year break because, I was transitioning. I didn't know what I was doing with my life once I transitioned. So TikTok helped me come back to the love of bounce because I was doing bounce in my head, but I just felt like transitioning that wasn't for me no more. But when I got on TikTok and people was just like, "Oh my god, wait, you know how to do bounce music?" I was like, "Yeah." And then I just didn't tell nobody who I was before. I just kept going on with the new person that I am until I started dropping little hints. And I was like, well, about 15 years ago, I made this song. 18 years ago, and it was like, wait, that's you? And I never knew that people knew me. And if I had known that people knew me like they knew me, I probably would have been motivated to keep going. But I just felt like I was always overlooked. Even now, I still feel overlooked. There's a lot of bounce conversations that I'm not even in. Like, they don't even mention me a lot of times. And I just feel like I put in so much work since 2020. And I didn't even come in as a returning artist. Like, I came in 2020 as a new artist. So I wanted to wipe the slate clean. I feel like I've done so much already. And I don't know, maybe one day, but like you said, this is what I love. So whether they like it or they don't listen to it, whether I get strings or not, I wake up every day and I create freestyles in my brain. And this just what I've been doing since I was young.
Mm-hmm. And
It's
continue
like
that.
second nature. Yes.
That part. It's instinctual. It's natural to you. And
It is.
and I hope too that it means so much, because whenever I do reach out to artists, there is something there. When you captured my attention and I did the research, it's like I really hope she comes on this podcast to give you that honor. This is a small platform that's growing organically, and it's not even about the numbers, but this substance of making this a very academic, scholarly opportunity for people to study and to cite both now and in the future. That's my goal for this platform. So I want for you to know that, the historical relevance of Yo Girl Mel is not lost. You have an audience. That's how I was able to find you, and you are on the right track. You absolutely are. You are a star and you are a celebrity. And the numbers and everything, I'm so glad that TikTok brought you back from that 14, 15-year hiatus, so that you really can, showcase the talents that you had here and now giving that gift to the world. So thrilled.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Of course. So when you are in the studio, okay, when you're in the studio, when you're in the booth, whenever you're creating the music, especially since we're talking about bounce music, what comes first? Is it the lyrics first, or is it the beat? Do you have to hear that beat and get into it? Or are you writing lyrics and then once you have a beat, you just start to speak to it? Or is it a mixture of both? What's the process?
I do lyrics first. I scribble scrabble. Like I don't sit down and write a song. Throughout time, like I told you, I'm constantly having bounce in my mind. So I woke up this morning, I thought about something, and I just did a little memo note. So I just take buku stuff and I just put them together, and then I already know what kind of beat I want with the song. So if I am making my own beat, I'll make the beat and then rap on top of it. If somebody else making it, I'll just tell them how I want it to go. But I definitely think of my words first. Like yes, I do.
Okay, so but you're a writer, and you said you freestyle. You sometimes you freestyle on the beat too.
Yeah, I freestyle a lot because when you have stage fright, it's hard to remember what you've written. So then I just go off the brain and I just be like, hey. Because in a lot of times in bounce music, we do freestyle a lot because, like, I don't know, that's just what we do. Like, you'll write a song and you'll record it, but when it's time to perform it, you really know who's who if you using a backtrack or if you just using an instrumental beat. Because we get freestyling from a lot of us get freestyling from school. Like in New Orleans, school is very important. So it's like a lot of us learn in school. So when we in the hallway, we just beating on our chests or we beating on the walls, and that's how you learn how to just start freestyling stuff. Because you'll just look at something around the room. You know, I think you look at something right, you would just be like, I don't care. I'm trying to zoom my hair, bend it over, bust it open. You know what I'm saying? And you just keep going like that. So sometimes if I feel like I could waste people's time, yeah, I'll go in the studio and just freestyle it. But if I know I'm on a scheduled time, then I'll take a lot of stuff that I've written down and I just memorize it and then I put it in parts. I need to write stuff down because sometimes I take a long time in the studio. I do. I take a long time in the studio because I'm like, I ain't write this down. And I went in the studio with people and they had it written down. I was like, if I write it down, I can't feel it. I feel it because I recite it every single day when I wake up. I'd be like, oh, remember what I just said yesterday? And I just start saying it until when I get in the studio, it'll feel like a freestyle because I didn't write it down. It just comes naturally to my brain.
And that is such a top tier thinking. Like you have to understand that to freestyle anything, to come off the dome and freestyle, that is that science studies how the brain reacts when someone freestyles and captures words in a short amount of time. Not everybody can do that. That is a superpower. That is truly a gift from God to be able to do that type of thing and to just, naturally wake up and have a beat and then all of a sudden you, just like you did just there, like it's amazing the command that you get, that you take whenever you do speak and you do begin into that lilt. It is an amazing thing, a superpower, right? You are a superhero, Yo Girl Mel. Like that is something that everybody cannot do. As much practice, if they were, like you said, in the hallways of in any New Orleans high school, in high school period, wherever high school you're in, imagine the kind of confidence you have to have, that you gotta have in order to be able to not only speak and spit, but to also have the rhythm, capture that attention, and so you were made for this, not
But
new to this, true to this. Come on, yeah.
you know what took off? What took off was when I first started making videos and I was saying, oh, I just freestyled that. A lot of people was like, oh, girl, you ain't freestyle that. So then that's when I started going live and I started running a beat on live. And I would tell them, like, give me a subject. And they would write stuff in the comments and I just be rapping to it, and they be like, "Say something about my name," and I just rap their name, and I just be like, "Yay, yay," and they be like, "Wait, she really do be freestyle," and I be like, "Yeah, like I do write stuff, but a lot of the stuff is really like freestyle out my brain." And that's what really got me to this level because doing those freestyles on TikTok, making videos and stuff, and then like recording my lives and just posting the clips like we doing now, that really got me noticed because I had did that and it took off. And that's how I actually do my music now. I do the freestyles on my TikTok first. And then if I get enough likes, and then I'll turn it into a song. And that's how really I'm here today from doing that.
Oh, interesting, real interesting. So then which do you prefer? Do you prefer being in the booth recording the music, or do you like performing that music in front of people? Which do you prefer?
I prefer the studio. Like when I go to the studio, because I do have a little bit of I am a little musically inclined. It's just it's just like to be able to create that masterpiece and to be able to go back and play it over and over. It's just like, wait, that's me. And as far as it's like, going on the stage, it's just like, okay, that's one and done. You know what I'm saying? But going to the studio is just like, wait, I can add multiple voices and I could create a masterpiece. And sometimes in my music, I like to show my singing ability and I'll do like some harmonizing in the background. And I just be like, I wonder if people gonna pay attention to the fact that I just sung in the background. And I just be like, I just love studio. Studio is what I love, but that don't mean that I can't perform because I could tell off a stage. But I love the studio because you create so much magic enough. And people don't understand the little intricate little details when you be like, oh, pause the beat right here or make my voice go left to right. And it just be like, I wish that people could understand. Like sometimes when you go in the studio and you make magic, like I want people to put in their headphones and I want people to really pay attention because that's how I learn music by putting it in my headphones. That's how I was able to learn beats and sounds and all type of stuff because sometimes I do if I can't get to the studio, I do music on my laptop and people like, oh my God, I never knew you do music on your laptop. It sounds so good. And I'm like, I don't know. I just been listening to music in my headphones since I was like 6 years old. And it just be coming to me. I don't be knowing what I should have went to college for music, but I was just like, I didn't know that's what I wanted because I wanted to be like my parents and be a teacher.
And I,
So
I think now, if you were to go to college, you may have to be the instructor, my baby. You're going to have to teach how to actually
right.
do that. Seriously, you have the experience. You are the expert.
I wham. I just really wanted like I told you, me and my sister used to pretend to be escape and stuff. We used to stand on the living room table and I just knew I wanted to be a performer. I was just like I would outshine her in everything and my brother. Like we'll play church. You know how you play church and all that. I used to have like a little drum set. My brother get on the drum set or whatever. My sister, she used to have like a saxophone. My brother used to have a keyboard sometimes. And I'd be the singer. I got to sing. I got to be the one to show off. I got to do all that. But as time went on, and it was just like the way I want to do music conflicts with the fact that the way I live my life is not how my parents wanted me to live my life. So I kind of backed away from it. I was just like, you know what? I want to be a teacher like my parents. But thank God that I found my way and I just was like, I was like, nah, I want to do music. And right after Katrina, when I went viral, it just showed my daddy, like, I'm not playing, daddy. I'm really serious. And this is what I want to do. And my daddy was like, oh, well, go ahead and do it. I didn't think he was going to support me. I ain't had no call after Katrina. He had a call. I used to use his car. I used to say, oh, I got a performance in the club. He'd be like, well, as long as you put the gas back in the car, you can have it all night. I'd be like, thank you. And I used to take that call and I used to go from club to club performing. I used to perform like I had one song called Swagger Reload that came out in 2007. I performed that song for almost 3 years. I really went from club to club. I had multiple songs, but that was always like the biggest. Just like now, I think I'm gonna be performing Jet 2 Holiday for like the next 3 years.
And then it'll be something else, something else, something else, because you have this expertise that comes to that. Shout out to your pops for supporting you, and again giving you your flowers too, Mel, to never giving up on yourself. Things happen, challenges, things like Katrina, where it's devastating. But the lesson that you are giving our audience, you are blessing and preaching to us, is to never give up on self, never give up on that dream and that feeling from your heart, and continue to share that with the world, which is what you're doing even more so with the social media, where you don't have to drive from club to club. You're now going from algorithm to algorithm, being able to hear people able to hear so much from you. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so proud of you too. So proud of you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I mean, as the
Thank you.
bounce
Thank you.
queen, What does being called a bounce queen mean to you?
But see, I never really heard that term because I don't want to step on people's toes because there is a bounce queen in New Orleans already,
But
but
just
I
one of
just
them,
like I
yeah.
think yeah, I'm still new to people really like, giving my flowers. So this is all new to me. When I went to New Orleans for Mardi Gras and the love that I received, it just felt unreal because I lived in New Orleans my whole life and I didn't receive those flowers. And then now I'm receiving flowers. I took so many pictures, so many people tried to speak. Well, so many people spoke life into me. And it's just like when you think about it, back when I took my 14-year break, I couldn't get bounce music out of my head. I rapped constantly, and people would be like, I'd be at work, and they'd be like, "Girl, you wasting all that talent." And I never understood what wasting that talent meant, and it was just like, "Girl, now that's just something I be doing." And they'd be like, "How you would just do it off the top of your?" I was just like, I don't know. So I ignored it for years. But thank God TikTok was the platform that really like got me to love the music again because I was gonna go my whole life knowing how to do something and not doing because I just was afraid how people would like receive me because transitioning was kind of hard. It wasn't as easy as it looks. So yeah, I still feel like I get a little bit of pushback because I'm trans because I feel like I could have went so much first, but that's a whole nother. That's a lot with that.
And but still, it's still you. It's still you
Right.
that is there that people honor and respect and adore. We all have choices to choose. Like, for example, my choice of wearing locks. I can have the straight hair, I can have the fro, but this is my choice. It's still going to be me. But I also have to have the choice to be happy with myself, no matter what I use to share who I am. And I support everyone to love who you want, be who you want, because it's so important. Life's so short. And, God didn't put us on this earth to be one particular type. There is a an instinct and a natural ability that we all have, and the way that God gives us our gifts, it just manifests in different ways. So who you are, your girl Mel, you are celebrated, and I'm so thankful for TikTok, but also those people at your job that were also honoring you and telling you, girl, this is amazing, this is something. And the time you took to work on yourself to become exactly who you are and to be able to be happy. I'm so thankful that you did that, because imagine there are people there who don't get the opportunity to do that. They have to, be somebody or be something that they dislike. And so the happiness, you are very happy when you are performing, when you're sharing your music. That happiness is making us, your audience, happy. So you are sharing happiness because you found happiness too. Yeah.
Thank, thank you.
Yes, man. Yes. That's the beauty of hip hop music, is that it helps us to express ourselves, to find who we truly are. And as a resident of the New Orleans, the city of New Orleans, Orleans Parish, to be part of that lineage and that tradition, it was so important for you to find yourself, because now nobody else could be Yo Girl Mel except you. No one else could be that. No one else can capture the attention like you are capturing the attention. And that is because you love you. My Aunt Yaya, she tells me that. She says that Jesus had to get out of his hometown for him to be exactly who he is. He never went back. There's no stories about him going back and being, in that era. He had to be somewhere else, something else, to become the Messiah that he is. And so we all have to find that for ourselves so that we can be the power that we have inside of us. So your legacy, your royalty, is exactly where God has placed you. And you are reaching so many people with that bounce music, and you are commanding attention through a screen. I mean, the fact that you are commanding people through the cell phone, I can only imagine what it is in person. And your stadiums, your audience is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because you found love of self. And I'm so grateful and thankful you were able to do that for yourself.
Thank
Absolutely. So let's. Girl, I want you to know that.
I'm just a little emotional because you have no idea. Like I don't know. I blamed a lot of stuff on why I haven't reached the heights I was supposed to. But when I sat down, it's a lot of stuff that I didn't do. It's still a lot of stuff that I didn't know, and I used to blame other things. And it's like it's it's stuff that I was supposed to do. Like people don't get to their dreams by just sitting there waiting for somebody to give them a handout. And truth be told, I have a problem with reaching out to people. That's my problem now that I'm working on. And it's so funny that you say that because I don't reach out to people. So the fact that I don't reach out to people, I'm missing so much. And it's like I just never ever had to reach out to somebody. And it's like, and I had to sit there and I was like, well, that's why you didn't get that because you never reached out. Like you didn't inbox people. Like there's no inboxes from nobody from me when if I'm really hungry for it, I should be in everybody inbox asking for a chance. But for some reason I'm not. So that's a part of me that I'm working on. But other than that, the music is so much I haven't recorded. I'm like I'm just ready for everybody to really, really, really see how much more I can give them. And I'm not just like somebody that come around once every couple of years and give you something good. Like I can give you something good every single day. Okay. So
And we
I'm just a
here.
little overwhelmed because you giving me like this confidence and you telling me about me and stuff is just it's like I just never really felt seen. Even being 6 feet tall and trans, I just still never been seen for my music because they don't understand that it's my passion. And it's hard to get them to understand it now that it's a trend because you have out of town people trying to jump on a trend. And it's like, yeah, I want everybody to be able to dance to it, but my gift is for me to be able to deliver it to you. I want to be the one to rap it to you. I don't want you to listen to my music and be like, oh, I could do that too. That's not what I'm making it for. I want to be able to make music so that when you go party, you could be like, oh, turn on Yo Girl Mel. Or like when you're feeling down and you be like, let me get out this rut, turn on Yo Girl Mel. That's why I make music for children. I make music for adults. I try to make music for every single space because that that uh that Jet 2 holiday I did, the fact that I made that purely for the entertainment of the beat and not for like anything explicit. That song I received so many videos and stuff from people in other countries because Jet2 Holiday is an airline overseas, not here. So they really was able to understand the words, and then this city was able to understand the beat. So watching people in other countries play my music, I'm sitting there with my mouth open, like you serious? Like people don't know how much I love bounce music. I can name so many. I could literally repeat and sing so many songs from the past. I'm not really that hip on the new stuff right now, but the old stuff, like from when that got me inspired, like the late '90s and the early 2000s. I don't know. I just got emotional right quick because I never thought in a million years that people would really like me right now because I just want people to know even when the trend is over, I'm still here doing bounce music because I can't get rid of it. It's a part of me.
Nor should you. Girl, you're going to be 95 years old. 95
I
years
will.
old. Sincerely so, and still doing bounce music because that's, again, that is culture, that is life, that is authenticity. And again, it's like the analogies that I'm thinking about, imagine somebody from New York trying to do crip walking from California, or somebody trying to mimic Arabic dancing, but you from Chicago. It is not to just be replicated because it can never be duplicated, but it's honored to it's a I'm sure it's an honor to see other people enjoyment, right? To mimic it a bit. They could never commercialize it. It would never go off anywhere if they tried to duplicate it because it is specific to that region and that has to be respected to that. And so today, again, on this podcast, that's the goal of this interview, to give you your flowers, to celebrate you, Yo Girl Mel, and also that reverence of bounce music because it is a part of hip hop. It is a part of so many people's lives and, joy, the traditions of it and what bounce music means, especially being from Louisiana. That's something that it would always be on the radio. It's just something that I know. And then for people to not know it, well, what is that? I don't understand that sound. Then you don't understand me. That you're teaching such history and such, the traditions of what it means to be of Louisiana, especially in that New Orleans section. That's a mighty, mighty role that you have taken on that will always be of you. So you are this torch bearer where you will always light the torch when it comes to bounce music, and that is celebrated. And I'm so honored that you're here to talk to us about that and what it means to you, because the world needs to know. The world needs to know about the permeance of bounce music and how it's not going anywhere and how the tradition continues. And it'll never, never go away. That's right.
I do this. I always say I do this for the 504-225-985-337 and the 318.
There you go. There
You
you
know,
go.
I do it for us.
Man, I sure appreciate that too. Let me ask you, 20 years from now, what do you want them to understand about this era of bounce? What do you want them to think about 20 years from now?
But see, I don't really live in this era of bounce. Even though I'm here in this era doing music, I still set up my music in the way of what I grew up on. Like a lot of my songs, you're not gonna hear a lot of mixing and stuff. You're gonna hear my vocals and then the background vocals. But what I want people to understand about this is the year this is the year that people, this is the year that bounce come from underground. This is the year that we're able to actually get those deals and contracts just like regular hip hop. This is the genre that people forgot about. And right here is when you're going to see the rise of it. And I hope my face is there for the rise of it because I've done commercials, I've done all type of stuff. They had Nikki B. He really set the tone. Rest in peace to him. Flyboy Kino set the tone. There's people that's really making a name right now that 20 years from now they're going to be looking back and they're going to be like, oh, because these people inspire me to do what I do. And I'm just going to be so grateful. So that's why I just have to keep going because, yeah, I want to be your inspiration 20 years from now because they got people that say I'm the inspiration from 20 years ago. So once I get to 40 years in, I don't know.
Yeah, we do know. You're going to continue to make that impact. Bounce that ass. Make them do that. Make them twerk. All those
I'm
great
going to be
things.
old.
You're going to be seasoned. You're going to be
All right.
seasoned. We're not old. Let me tell you something. We are going to be seasoned like a good gumbo, like a good roux. We're going to be seasoned like that. Nobody,
I'm
old is
gonna
just a mindset. That's it.
okay.
That's right. I mean, as your elder, I'm telling you, as you get older, you become better and you get more seasoned and more flavorful more than anything.
Okay.
Hmm.
Seasoned. I'm gonna be seasoned.
There you go. There you go. Tony Chacher is seasoned. I know that's right.
Okay, if I put a little Tony on my bounce 20 years from now, it's gonna be good. I just can't wait. I just can't wait to see what's in store for me, especially after this interview. Because once you clip this and stuff, this I don't know. This could really go in my portfolio. I told you I really haven't been. I don't know. I haven't really been invited to a lot of stuff. I think I focus too much on other people and not worrying about me. Like I look at other people and how they navigate through social media, but I don't know what all they did. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there with them when they was writing all these different people inboxing them to collab and stuff like that. I wasn't there when they was knocking on doors. I just be thinking, I just look on social media, just like nobody know what I went through to get to where I'm at. But I don't know. I'm just so grateful that this is happening because this gonna really make me put my foot down and just be like, stop playing and really do what you know you want to do since you've been a little child.
That's right. Giving it back
So
to
you
that
know,
inner child. Yes, that's the premise of this podcast. I reach out to real artists and unpack the excellence that they showcase. And it's not by how many followers, it's just by what I hear cuz I am the hip hop scholar. And so there is something very special and unique to everyone that I have the gracious opportunity to interview and unpack with because I want to know. And I know there is an audience that wants to know. They want to learn. They want to understand this excellence that you have placed. And many people that I've interviewed, it does surprise them because, a lot of us, nobody's getting paid. I'm not getting paid to do this. This is, part of my research for my doctoral studies and making this an academic scholarly place where people will access this interview and they'll be citing this interview and they'll be able to be inspired by this. And so this is my archive to give to the world to learn from real artists just like yourself. And so I hope it means something that I reached out to you so that you can unpack that brilliance with me and you have blessed me to help me get on that path of success of being able to interview all the real artists, capture their stories and their origins and their inspirations, the challenges that they have faced. I have met such amazing people with this platform that it blesses me. My husband says he's like, I'm exhausted, especially when it's time to do the interview. But he always tells me as soon as you get on and those people get on for the interview, I light up because it's just a beautiful thing to hear real artists talk about something that is their life. It is what they breathe. Hip hop is that important to them. And it's just a lovely opportunity to learn from that before the celebrityism, before, you get all the millions of followers and millions of dollars, where the hunger is there, when the real heart of the music still stands. And then this can be an archive of remembrance where you were, especially in that time of transition where, you went from kind of, sort of to absolutely non-negotiable. So this is mutually beneficial, Mel. You blessing me, and I'm thankful that you appreciate this podcast and what we're doing here with you today. Thank you.
yes, hip hop scholar. Just hearing hip hop and how important it is to us in the Black community itself, and wanting to be a part of that. Like I just feel like yes, I had no choice but to do this because this is exactly in my lane. Like not just a regular interview on, oh, you're a TikTok star. No, I want to let people know like I'm a part of hip hop, and bounce is like you said, it's a part of hip hop. And I'm glad that you see me as a part of hip hop because I play a lot. Because I hate rejection. So when I play a lot, and then people be like, "Oh no, wait, don't play. That's good." And then I be like, "Oh, I'm glad you like it because I really was serious." And then it's just like, yay.
Mm-hmm.
But I really am on. I'm on like this. This means a lot to me that you saw me, and then you saw me from the owl video. Like that. Literally, I literally just woke up and joined the trend and just was like, oh, and I just was like, okay,
I said,
but
wait a
yeah,
minute. And then I did my research after that. Like, girl, yes, yes, and yes. And I want to invite you back because we're coming towards the end of the time frame, and I got to invite you back here if you would have us. If you have the time, I would love to interview you some more on this podcast. But I do have
of course,
okay, perfect, okay, good. But I do have one more question for you before we go. Okay, if you could perform anywhere in the world, doesn't matter the money, doesn't matter how you get there, if you could perform anywhere in the world, tell us where and why.
I don't know.
Anywhere.
I heard, anyway, I don't really, I mean, it's gonna be America, of course. It's just, I don't know, like, I like stuff like Rolling Loud. Honestly, I'm really old fashioned. Like, I just want to perform at Jazz Fest one day. Like, to be honest, like I just want to be thought of in my city. Like, I know a lot of people say, a lot of people be like, "Oh, you should have bigger dreams than your city," but like my city really made, like, the culture in my city made me who I am today. And it's just like growing up in New Orleans, you love everything New Orleans, and it's just like I grew up, you know what I'm saying, learning about the biggest artists in the world coming to Jazz Fest. And it's like, I want to perform there. Especially now that I know that I be creating music for family and not just for the adults. I would love that.
And that's one of those manifestation questions that I ask. I received another answer from this artist in New York where he didn't have a place either. He said he wanted to perform during New York Fashion Week because that's when people show off the best things that they wear and are just themselves. And he was like, it didn't matter where, just during that moment. So the same lineage of what you shared during Jazz Fest, that's like the most New Orleans thing that everywhere and everyone from everywhere comes to celebrate the traditions of New Orleans. And so to be part of that tradition, to be part of that legacy, Yo Girl Mel, Jazz Fest coming soon. I'm claiming
Yeah.
that with me.
I chose Jazz Fest because, like, when we think about jazz, we have to understand, when we think about jazz, we think about Black people. And I just feel like Jazz Fest haven't been, it has not been purposely centered Black in a very long time. And I just feel like if people like me can take back our stage and our platform and our city, we can really, you know what I'm saying? We could bring back the Black excellence to the fairgrounds. Like, that's what I want. I don't want to just be like, oh, I want to perform in front of a lot of white people. I like white people, but I want to perform anywhere Black. I want to perform around my people because only my people understand and know me like that. And it's like when I think about stages, you don't really have many stages where it's just like, oh, it's just all Black, natural Black. It's like you don't have that unless you create one.
Hmm.
So if I could change my answer, I create my own, create my own place, my own stage in the blackest place ever for us, by us, and just rock out. Because I do
Everybody.
have a song called "Black for Life," and it just be like, "Cause I'm black, black, blickets are black, black, the blicket." Yeah, it just went viral. It just hit 1 million.
I
So
heard that. Yes, I know that
you
song.
did?
Yes,
Oh,
I
okay.
did. Yes,
Yeah,
of course I did.
yeah. I'm all things black.
Yeah, because that was during Black History Month, and then one of the followers was like, "You got to play that. Like, I need to hear that." And it was I read the comments. Like, I look at the commentary, and you have such a big fan base that adore. Like, oh, you got to play that. You need to put it again. Do it again. And I just want to just manifest that and claim with you. That's why I ask that question as often as I can, is to just hear it and claim with you, and I'll be front row. Let me tell you something. As soon as you sit up there and you do that, I'll be front row. I got a lot of
Of
concerts I got to
course you
go to.
will.
Of
I'm
course.
gonna always remember you. You hit me up, you gonna have front row because your ticket's gonna already be at the door.
Period. Period. I'm so honored. I'm so honored, so blessed, so thankful. I wish we had more time, but I'm going to honor your time because I know you're busy. We have things to do. And Hip Hop Scholar family, check out the links below so you can link and learn all things Yo Girl Mel from the 504. This is the Hip Hop Scholar podcast, and we are out of here. Peace.
Thank you. You gotta bring me up here again.
I will. I got you.